Welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the alternate build for the Banished Phantom. Now, for some reason, Mega released the Phantom and then didn't release the instructions for the alternate build until just a few weeks ago. Or a few weeks ago as of the time of the recording of this video. This will probably come out, I don't know, a week or so after I film this, so it'll be a little longer by then. But yeah, for some reason the instructions weren't available, which was odd because typically the instructions were available before the set was even available. So, I don't know. It's weird. And yeah, I don't know. So, we have the instructions now. I'll put the link to them in the description below. And this was a painful build. I'm not going to lie. It was painful both physically and just in how long it took. Pulling the Phantom apart was actually painful because for some reason some of the pieces stick together really, really tight, especially the stacked plates. And I was not smart and I decided to do most of that with just my fingers and not the brick separator. So yeah, it hurt. But I don't know, it was a tedious build. It wasn't real fun for some reason. I don't know why. It took a long time and it just was kind of in general weird. Maybe that won't be the same for everybody. And also, I think if you sorted out your parts, that would help a lot. A lot of my time was just spent searching for pieces, and because we have so many of the same color parts, it's hard to find stuff. But yeah, it took me a while. It was like 3 days of work to get this done. So let's go ahead and we will take a closer look. So the overall look, just at first glance, is pretty cool. It has a good stance, has a pretty decent design overall, and it looks very similar to a blisterback, which is kind of cool. And the legs work pretty well, although as I'm looking at it, it's flexing this piece right here because this is not exactly a light build. So it kind of is flexing the stopper pieces, and I'm not so sure how good that is. But the detail work is nice. I particularly like what they did for like the waist area. We have a bit of a tilt to it. It doesn't move. I wish it could rotate at the very least because this would look great like rotating, looking around. But you can't. It does look fantastic though. I like the way they built it. I like the angle. I like that it kind of looks like pistons in there. It's just really cool. The design here is really clever. And then we have lots of angled plates. I'm not sure what these are up here. I think maybe fuel cells, but I was wondering, could we use them as prisons? So like, can we jam our Spartan up in there? No, you can't. So they're just fuel cells. Griffin doesn't fit. That would have been kind of cool if they were prisons, but they're not. Then we have a gun, which is, it's a little funky because it bends down like that, but you can kind of tilt it up and down. And technically you can kind of do side to side when you kind of do like that. You can do side to side, but it's not much. And yeah, that's weird to me. I don't like the way it just kind of sags. The little face area is kind of cool. It's got these like mandibles down here, here, and then I guess those are the little eyes per se. Then we have shooters on the side. Nice shaping around the back. Looks pretty good. I like that they use those big vent pieces in there. That's pretty nice. So let's get in a little closer and look at the interior. Oh yeah, before we move on, I just wanted to show the legs have pretty much no posability. They're just like this. It kind of reminds me of the new Lego ATTE, the way that the legs just kind of float loose and you can just set it down and it kind of molds itself to the ground a little bit. I would have liked posability, but I understand because this is a rebuild, they are limited to the parts that they have, and there was really no posing joints. So I think this was a pretty good compromise. So the front can open up. We have, well, let me fold this out of the way. We have big piece that opens up here, and that breaks off. Unfortunately, the Phantom's fragile nature also follows to the alternate build, because you literally cannot take your hand off of this hinge. It's just 4 studs, and this end piece is way too heavy. So you can kind of do that, but then if you tilt it any more forward, you will break it. The sides can also fold down, which is very helpful because, again, we can't fold this all the way down without it breaking. We're just going to break that off for a minute because we can see the screen in there. And then we got some controls in there. And the brute captain is supposed to drive this thing. The only way to really keep him in place is by making him hold. Oh my gosh, I just broke the center off. Yeah, there's also only a few studs holding it here. There's a total of 8 studs holding the entire top section on, and that's it. So, yes, very fragile. This entire thing is very fragile. The captain looks pretty cool in there. Loaded up, ready to go. You can fold those in. Let's put the front back on if we can. Close it up. There we go. And then around the back, here's another section that's actually frustrated me quite a bit. So you can fold this back, right? But if you fold it too far back, you're going to then knock the side panels off like this. And then it starts flexing. And as you do that a couple times, your whole side panel here will fall off, which is annoying. There is some nice... Oh my gosh, I just broke it again. This is a perfect display of how fragile this thing is. It literally just fell apart. Oh my gosh, I've not even had it fall apart this badly before. Oh my gosh. It's such a great design, looks-wise. And then as soon as you try to do anything with it, as soon as you try to breathe on it, it breaks. And there's only 3 studs holding this on. For some reason, the wings just don't want to stay on these studs. There's not enough clutch power there or something. I don't know. But there's the back. You can see it detached now. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, yeah, I think it just plugged in. Wait, how did it break? Oh, yeah, it just unplugged from the whole thing. But maybe I shouldn't take it off yet or put it back on yet. There's the back. There's some nice space you could use for a troop transport. Oh my gosh, it's breaking. All of it's breaking. It's just attached on by 2 studs, and their little gimmick here is that you're supposed to like fold. Come on. You're supposed to be able to fold this thing up like that and tuck the gun away, and then you would put the back on again, and it falls apart again. This is going to drive me literally insane. Oh my gosh. There, like that. You're supposed to be able to tuck the gun away like that. Now let's plug it back onto the base, and now you can see it's all closed up and no gun on top, which all told, this thing is pretty defenseless because we just have these 2 little point defense turrets and then a very static large turret on top. So it can't do a whole ton, but it does look pretty cool. Another bit of a downside about this build, and well, okay, maybe I shouldn't call it a downside. Another point about this build is that it uses barely any of the pieces. Well, it uses about half, I guess. This is what's left when you build this. These are all the pieces left from the Phantom. So, yeah, you have a lot left over. Size-wise, let me just drop in the new Red Team Hog. This thing does stand pretty tall. It's pretty imposing looking, but again, it's very fragile. I think they could probably pick this thing apart with the Hog's chain gun. But yeah, I mean, size-wise, it's pretty cool. I honestly expected it to be bigger. For some reason, the pictures made it look a lot bigger. Maybe that was just because it showed figures next to it, and figures are very small next to this monster. But vehicles, like the Hog, make it look not so bad. Not so bad to like fight against, you know. But yeah, I would say kind of the final verdict on this, at least in my opinion, is it's not great. Looks-wise, the designers did a fantastic job. It looks very much like a blisterback, and it looks very Banished. But function-wise, really all you can do with this is sit it on a shelf and then don't even look at it. Don't breathe on it, or else it's gonna fall apart. I don't feel like I need to say much more to that to back it up. You guys literally saw how it was falling apart as I was touching it. Now, I do think that the base here is really, it has a lot of potential. You could remove this, and then you have what could turn into like a little deployable banished base almost. So like if you just rip this off, look at that. You could expand on this a little bit more, maybe add a ramp, put a turret in the middle here, and then you basically have yourself a little banished fob, which is pretty cool. This by itself it's well shaped, it's well designed, looks wise again, but yeah, it just falls apart. I feel like this could turn into some drop ship if you wanted to, but oh my gosh, it's falling apart. I'm not even gonna try to put it back together at this point. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna dismantle this after the video. I don't really have space to store it either in this form, so yeah, this is definitely gonna be taken apart. I wanted to like this because I really liked what I saw on the art, like the instructions when they first revealed that this was going to be the alt. I really liked what I saw. I thought this was maybe going to be the best alternate build yet, but it's not. I'm kind of disappointed with how fragile it is. So, yeah, to be honest, the Phantom, as fragile and funky as it is much more worth keeping your Phantom as a Phantom and not building this little blister back thingy, because you will drive yourself literally insane trying to make this thing stay together. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.